Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.
Are you ready to slay another day? So are we. Welcome back to Shit 90 Shows Taught Me. I'm Jess Sterling here with my co-host, Sarah Humphrey. Sarah, how are you?
I am just feeding off of the tears of many Waz supporters. I feel hydrated. I feel so fresh and happy.
You're a
And
monster.
yeah, I mean, I was thirsty, but now I am very hydrated.
Mm-hmm. Of course, we're not alone today. We're joined by somebody to talk about this episode. It is somebody who is definitely down with the new music and has the albums to prove it. Hannah, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me back. I'm happy to be back. The first one I came on was Phases, so it felt like it made sense to round it out.
This is perfect.
Wild
Yeah, we're
at Heart.
talking season 4, episode 6, Wild at Heart, aka the episode that breaks all Waz fans' hearts. I'm devastated. I gotta admit, I'm devastated. And Veruca, girl, you're on my list, even though you're dead. You're on my list, okay? I did not appreciate the nonsense. And I also, okay, Sarah, do I need to mention the fact that maybe I have like ESP or something? Because I predicted there not only will be another werewolf, but that there will be a girl werewolf and that like Oz and her will like, something will happen.
Yeah, it seems like you have ESPN or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you feel it in your boobs?
Not in my boobs, especially. That's not like the location of where I feel it, but I did sense it coming. Hannah, I have to imagine you were a huge Waz fan from back in the day. This just feels like a relationship you would support. So were you heartbroken the first time you watched this? And are you equally as heartbroken having just watched it?
Yeah, I love Waz. And I think I just relate maybe the most to Willow as a character. And watching her heart get broken, performed beautifully by Allison Hannigan and Seth Green. I feel like the performances, Sarah, you might be drinking tears, but you have to admit these performances were spot on.
Yeah, I'm drinking Willow's tears. Yes, that's true. That is,
and they were so good. Those tears were so well acted. Her cry acting is incredible.
Yeah,
incredible.
It was the quivering lip for me.
It was the little tear that doesn't want to come out of her eyeball for me. You know, the one that just stays there for a little too long because it just can't come down.
I feel like it's a combination of we've known these characters and they've had a romance since I first came on the pod, so many seasons now. Mm-hmm. And it's a combination of knowing and loving characters, and that's why we keep watching TV, and also having a character you relate to and thinking of your first experiences with heartbreak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
goodness, yes.
we're at the end of Waz. And possibly question mark, I really don't know. Like Oz just like leaves town at the end of this episode. Like what is happening? Like he can't be leaving the show. Like we just lost Cordy to freaking Angel.
There's places to go, things to do.
I literally thought that the military was going to kidnap him in the last few seconds of the episode because the military is no joke today. They're kidnapping Spike.
We got a he left via bus. At least it was some sort of transportation because Hannah, if you remember, we were totally speculating how Angel was going to depart, and I did guess
I remember.
both, but it was just the case of the mists. So at least like we know that Oz left in a bus. No,
I know all the predictions now that I'm an avid listener. Every Thursday, I download Shit 90 shows taught me, and I text now both of you the group chat.
I got added back into the group chat. Yeah.
Yes.
Into the podcast. I'll text you guys a paragraph.
My only issue with the group chat is that I'm really bad at checking my texts if it's not on my computer because I have like a Mac. I like the iMessage. So like I really do not like that the group chat is like in green message and it doesn't show up on my computer. So if I don't participate as much, that's
It should now. It actually should
not
now.
you, Hannah. It's not you. It's Jessica.
No, I know who makes it green, but my boyfriend shows up in green text, and they just started showing up to my iMessage on my computer. Apple has allowed green onto your computer. So this is a huge breaking news development to those listening, and also to Sarah.
Breaking.
Yes, I can see our group.
Update?
I think you should update. This is not an ad for iMessage, but I do now have our group text on my iMessage, and I know the pain of the green as I have a lover who texts in green.
Was that not a like a red flag for you? Because I just find green text message people unfuckable, truly.
I deeply love my boyfriend.
The thing is you have to convert who you're dating.
I think two things. First of all, it does come to your computer now. And two, I would like to say that you are overusing the term red flag in this case. I think it is. I think it's annoying. It has been frustrating. But it is not a reflection of his character.
Well,
I stand with your boyfriend because I will never own an iPhone. And so green texts for life, baby.
My family were like original Apple people. So when Windows were really big, they said no, they stole all the systems, and we were Apple people before it got hip,
before it was popular.
Welcome to our podcast, arguments you had in the 90s with your parents. The test worked.
No,
not
for me. Not for me. I'm trying something else.
Okay.
I'm trying something.
So
I've distracted us.
It's fine. I'm sure it's only going to happen about 15 times this podcast where we get derailed talking about something else. But where do we even start? Because like 90% of this episode is Waz content plus Veruca. Truly, I didn't think there could be a worse Veruca salt than the one from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like, if you're more evil than her as a Veruca, you've got problems. But I guess I kind of want to start at the beginning, mostly because I need to talk about Giles and what he's up to. And Hannah, very much he's Daddy Giles lately. Like, I kind of
He's been Daddy Giles the whole time. I have listened in real time as you two have realized that Giles is attractive. I would just like to point out, I don't have a specific timestamp if you're listening, but go back. I've called Giles hot since the jump.
Oh, you definitely have.
I have always been. And it's not just because I've watched the series. It's not just the Ripper. I love a little nerd in the library. So I've been Daddy Giling since I remember listening to your podcast thinking, oh, they're finally on board.
It's about time.
You're not the only one. You're not the
damn time.
Yeah. Now I think like my only block with Giles being Daddy is that like man still needs a job, and then
he's fun employed right now, and I kind of don't mind it because he's like chilling, watching some daytime TV game shows, like relatable content. I love him showing up at the Bronze and like taking a seat with everyone else and being like, just have a latte, like I'm just hanging out, you know.
He's mostly friends with teens. I will put a strike against that. But I have notes on my phone, and not a ton of notes, but I did put one of my Giles notes is I've always thought Giles was hot. So that important note
so important to note down.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Anthony Michael Head Hall. No, that's somebody else.
Anthony Michael Head. His real accent is more similar to the sort of teenage accent he had. He has a less proper accent. I don't know about the actor himself. I don't know his history. So if it turns out he's like a weirdo, I just think Giles, the character, is very attractive.
Yeah, where do you think he is today? What do you think he does?
Well, he was doing Ted Lasso.
Oh.
No Ted Lasso spoilers, please. I don't have Apple TV yet. I have everything else.
That's what he's in. He's in it.
Giles definitely needs a purpose, but I think something fun about this season, and I know I've texted you guys some of my feelings of the season without spoilers, is that it really is different characters sort of finding their purpose and being separate than to be, hopefully together.
Yeah. I would have thought Giles would have a job by now, but I'm also not really bothered that he doesn't, because it does seem like he's doing okay. It's not like he's like, we're not sitting there like, we're worried about Giles. Like,
how is he
sometimes we're
affording
worried
this
about him.
2-story apartment?
Oh, definitely generational wealth.
Yeah.
Okay, but we talked about this. Like, they don't, like, his father was also a watcher.
How do you know his mother didn't come from money?
I don't know.
She was the queen. You didn't know this?
Exactly.
Oh,
British.
she's literally the Queen of England. Queen Elizabeth. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. You had a secret son that is now a watcher. Got it. Yes. No more. No further questions.
And so everyone's at the bronze and they're all just like hanging out, whatever. Onto the stage comes Veruca yet again. And I've been very much like, she's a werewolf, she's a werewolf, she's a werewolf. I changed my tune for like literally a millisecond this episode when Giles and Xander are watching her performance, and like they have this kind of look over their eyes. And so for a split second, I was thinking, does she have some sort of power over men?
Have you listened to the lyrics to her bronze song? Because I don't have them written down, but there's something like "touch me." They're very sexual. Maybe it's just things very sexy.
That makes sense. Yeah.
How at one point are we going to get like a siren on this show?
I would love that.
Sirens are like not that talked about.
That would be fun.
What do you think about a male siren? Not that common.
Well, but the thing with sirens is, aren't they like on the sea? Like, don't they call you to their island? Like, we'd have to take a sea trip.
This could have been Angel's journey to this show.
That's what Kate is. That's what Kate.
If he was on a boat, he could have had the whole siren song situation.
Yeah,
missed opportunities.
Yes, I mean, I think like for me, it was it was just like so clear, especially as the episode, but she spotted him, and obviously like he was so drawn to her because he probably imprinted on her or more. I don't know.
Imprinting talk again. No, I mean, I will say I liked the way Willow reacted to pretty much everything this episode, because it wasn't that like over the top jealousy. It was like rooted in truth. Like, she's like, I can see the way he's like looking at her. Like, I saw like his neck get all like blushy. Like, I know something is going on, but I don't want to be that girl. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, okay. I felt so bad for Willow, because then Buffy's trying to like help her, but like Buffy can only do so much because she also knows that like something is going on, but she's trying to like pep talk Willow and make her feel better. And Hannah, my skin was like crawling and I wanted to just jump out of it during the like moment where Veruca, Oz, and Willow are all seated at a table together. The amount of awkward pauses is so uncomfortable.
Also, I know Veruca killed a bunch of people and that sucks, but it also sucked when she said she eats a burger because she's not like the other girls. I think the youth calls it a pick-me girl. I believe that's what the young people call it. Yes, they really created a character that was grating and uncomfortable and it clearly wanted to make Willow feel a certain way. Like when Willow mistakenly thought they were talking about a band, Veruca let her go on and even like kind of encouraged it.
Oh, so you're a big Elvis fan, are you? She's like such a douche. It's awful. And at first, I just trying to give Veruca the benefit of the doubt of like, okay, if she's interested in Oz, that's one thing. That doesn't necessarily mean she's trying to like quote unquote steal him, right? Like Oz is a person, he can make his own choices, whatever. But it's just there always was like this tension between Oz and Veruca. And Sarah, I'm really excited, even if we had to put up with the Veruca of it all, and even if this means the end of Waz, I'm excited that we got more werewolf lore, because we now know that at the very least, Veruca she's been a werewolf longer. And she says occasionally, like now that time has passed, she can remember things from when she was in wolf form. I don't know that that means she has any more control over her body, her urges, her whatevers, but she does remember things.
So is that just like wisdom comes with age? Is that, or time? Is that what it was? Or
It's
she's
maybe
just
because
more...
Oz is suppressing it so much that like he's
Oh, yeah.
also going to be suppressing the memories, and that's why he's like
Yeah.
blacking out. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
very interesting.
that would be interesting if it was just mainly just trying to block it all out of guilt or self-hatred. But she it's interesting. Like, I'm glad that that Oz got to find another person that is like going through this. I wish it wasn't in this way. And I don't hate the fact that like for a second he had like a little pact, but it really like went south quickly. And like you said that like, oh, you want to give her the benefit of the doubt. Like, she was clearly like trying to seduce him from the very beginning.
She's clearly interested in him. And but I think like, I guess where I come, okay, let's pretend it's not Waz and Veruca. Let's pretend it's just any three people, right? You have the couple, and then you have the outsider who is interested in one of the two members of the couple. Obviously, the like good person thing to do is to not pursue it at all because that person is coupled up. However, the onus is on the person in the couple, not on the outsider, to decide, do I want to fuck up my relationship or not?
I think the onus is more on the person in the couple, but I think the onus can be on both. If you know, if you don't know, I get really annoyed I think we've gone too far. Like, don't blame the other woman, of course. But if someone knows that there is someone in a couple, it is on the person in the couple to protect their relationship. But if you know someone's in a relationship, you do have onus. I think like
don't pursue them.
Internet speak is like it's totally on the person in the couple, and there's no such thing if they were able. No, it's still them too. I think with Veruca, part of her whole thing is that the wolf, she follows the wolf's instincts, which kind of is code for animal instinct or id or whatever. And so she's not thinking with, kindness or empathy towards Willow. She's, reacting on animal instinct. And Oz tries that on too this episode. But I think that's why she's so annoying. Is she just like, that's what I want, so I'm going to follow that instinct.
She doesn't care about anybody but herself and like her own wants and desires, and that is made abundantly clear when Oz ends up changing. It's that time of the month for him, these 3 days of the month. Willow is going to go off to like meet with this Wicca club, and Oz is going to be werewolfy. And so it's like the one time she says like, I can't be there, like, are you going to be okay? He says yes. But within a matter of seconds after changing into a werewolf, man needed to secure up those hinges, those latches prior to the night he was turning into a werewolf, because he busts on out of there real quick. And they hunt down. I found this very funny, Sarah, because I was like kind of mean to this professor in a previous podcast because she is like a blunt and like mean
to Buffy. Yeah.
Professor
and so Walsh,
so they chase her, but then they get into like a scuffle themselves, which I guess is one of those things where it's like, well, hatred and love are like very close together, and it's like, okay, so fighting and fucking are also very close together.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So
yes.
they end up doing it.
I think like it just comes down to like, animalistic like it's just like kind of what Veruca said. Like at the end of the day, they're like more beast than man in a way. So like I wonder like how much of it has to do with like, are the wolves in heat or something? Like how animalistic do we want to get? Are they like, once the moon comes, are they even more? Because like the thing is that like, how did we get from point A to point B? Like, how did Oz, like, is there anything in his subconscious that allowed him to be with Veruca? Like, how did we get here, essentially? Because it's not like every other time Oz was in werewolf form, he was like, humping the gates,
No, but I think he's never encountered another werewolf while in werewolf form, especially not someone he's like attracted to in real life. Like he said,
but also Veruca in werewolf form is the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
They both are. These costumes are horrible.
Did you like the in between when they were turning and they just had the
actively hated that.
hair?
It's all pretty bad, actually.
I think this was set up for a while though. Like all the faults. When I listen to the podcast, I feel like you don't give Oz enough credit as a character. I will say that before I discuss his faults. I think that he's not boring. He is a thinker who gives his opinions when he's asked. When Buffy's able to read minds, he's literally thinking about what the deeper thoughts about what it means that she can read minds. And does that mean she's all of them if she can read all of their minds? He's thoughtful. He's like funny and smart. I think a fault though is that he's not good at asking for help and he's impulsive. And I think that in the first episode I came on, Phases, when he realized he was a werewolf, he tried to chain himself by himself and almost hurt Willow. That weird werewolf episode. And I mean, he knew a Slayer and he didn't think, okay, I'll ask for help. And then the same thing in this, where he decides to deal with this all on his own. And I think that he had a crush on her in real life. And then it's his animal instincts taking over. So, I think it's all well set up.
I do too. I don't think this comes out of nowhere, right? Like they've been setting up, first of all, they've been setting up Veruca for a few episodes now.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffy, the show does a good job with setups like that.
Yeah, this didn't feel like it's like, oh my God, suddenly Oz sucks. Because I don't think that's not what it is. Like, yes, he cheated, but also I feel like there's like a deeper meaning behind it because of the fact that like the first time it happens, I feel like, okay, he was a werewolf. He didn't even know what was happening. He woke up naked next to Veruca and was like, what the fuck is going on? So he wasn't that one. I would say, if at that point he turns around, he talks to Willow and Buffy and he's like, here's the situation. Veruca's a werewolf. Not only is she a werewolf, but she is like an uncaged werewolf. Like this is the minute that I hated Veruca was when she's like, you lock yourself up. Wow, you're really like domesticated. It's like, girl, you're gonna kill people. Like, what are you talking about?
She admitted it as much.
Yeah, you're a monster.
I think there's so many choices he's making that are bad, but it's seeped in the history of like the show and patterns that we've already established. Like the whole thing where he says he doesn't have a choice goes back to the whole philosophy of the show, which is that there's always a choice. And in an uncaring world, even if your choices are limited, you have a choice. That's the like thesis statement of the entire series. And he makes really bad choices this episode, but they're grounded in character. And I love that he brings up when Willow cheated with Xander, because I feel like in a lesser show, things happen, characters deal with it emotionally, and then it disappears.
They never
but the
talk
thing in
about it
Buffy,
again.
It always, like in life, it stays with you. So you'll be in season 7 of Buffy, and some emotional, in the heat of an emotional argument, someone will bring up something from season 2, because that's how human beings are. So I think that there are a lot of goofy and maybe too on the nose elements in this episode, and a lot of them have to do with Veruca and the werewolf costumes and whatever. But I do think most of the character stuff is pretty grounded to me. So
then I guess like that was my question, Hannah, because it was just like, how self-aware is Oz, or like how much of his like humanness is within the werewolf form? And like I think like that actually like dictates my opinion of all of it, because if it's kind of like, do you just like once you're in werewolf form, is it like Severance and you have like no ability?
I don't have Apple TV. Please don't put
sorry. Well, you need the concept. You need the concept.
I do not have Apple TV.
I love the idea of us bringing up so many Apple TV shows.
The other one's Ted Lasso. Okay, just like in the morning show, it's just like Just like when Jennifer
No, this is a
Aniston
fair
said-
question, but they almost fucking the. Excuse me. Can I
Yes,
swear
of
on the
course.
podcast?
The
Okay.
literal name is Shit 90 Shows, Tommy. You can
Oh my
swear
God,
all
right.
you want.
What
They
podcast are you on?
She almost seduces him in the laundry room in human
Well,
form.
that's the thing.
I think
yes.
this is a question that the show brings up with a lot of characters.
Yeah.
When talking about Angel, for instance, is Angel responsible for the crimes of Angelus? Anya, is Anya responsible for the crimes of Anyanka when she was a demon? And are they connected? Like, Angel was obsessed with torturing Buffy, so there's some connection there. I think this show does this a lot. I think the werewolf thing, to me, I don't have the answer written down somewhere.
You didn't read the Werewolf Bible?
I didn't read the Werewolf Bible. I did wait in line when Twilight, the last book, came out. I was listening to that conversation. I waited in line for that book in Colorado. But I think that the werewolf stuff is a little simpler, which is just it's your animal instincts. But Oz made choices in human form that led to what happened.
In human form. Like obviously his argument was, I kissed her to pull her into the cage and trap her so she wouldn't kill people. Right? Like that is his argument. But
but he made choices. He made bad choices to end up in that situation. And when he said he didn't have a choice, anytime the word choice is mentioned by a character, you should pay attention, because that's Joss Whedon or whoever is writing the episode saying, hey, pay attention to this. And the point is that he had choices and he made a lot of bad ones, whether or not when they screwed as werewolves, it was self-aware or not.
Yeah, because the biggest issue, the moment that I started being less on Oz's side, if you will, in this super complicated, obviously, story, is after they fuck as werewolves, and then laundry room time, we put on our clothes, she tries to seduce him, she tries to say things like, oh, you're the wolf all the time. This is like this human face is just your disguise. Like, they don't know how alive we get to feel, how free we are, all of this kind of stuff, because he is treating this as like a disease, a problem, a bad thing. She is like reveling in the id of it all, of like getting to be her most true form, is kind of how she says it.
Aside from the cheating and the killing, like, do you not agree that that's how Oz should treat his life? Like, it kind of is sad that he has to hide in shame. So in a way, it's like, how can we meet in the middle between how Veruca sees this condition of werewolfdom and how he sees it? You know what I mean?
Well, she's definitely, I don't think she's right in terms of
they're on way polar opposite sides, right, of the spectrum.
Right, by pushing down his instincts, right, by lying to Willow and Buffy, by not even admitting you have attraction, he then gives into it like tenfold. I just think it's interesting. Yeah, that he constantly, and like you said, Willow behaves pretty well. I mean, she does change her clothes and like she's still an insecure 19-year-old. But for the most part, both she and with the help of Xander saying communicate with him, like being a really good friend, she tries. And Oz, because he cages his animal instincts, he then completely caves to it, which you're right. Maybe if he was not as a werewolf living outside of a cage, but maybe if he was more honest, like, yeah, I find her attractive, but I love you, and it's a much deeper, more complicated love, then he would be able to be like, here's what's going on.
Yeah, because I think the biggest problem is that like there is this obvious connection between Oz and Veruca. He doesn't really understand it, and so that's why I think he doesn't speak up about it necessarily. But the moment they have sex, and there's the after morning when Willow comes in, she's dressed in a different way, definitely dressed more like Veruca. She has like leather pants, on and on. And she wants to have sex with Oz, and he turns her down. That's the moment when he needs to say to her, listen, I figured out what's going on with Veruca. Like, she's a werewolf. We have this sort of weird vibe between us because we can sense it about each other. Like, obviously, he's not going to do any of that. This is a television show. And, like, that's also not who Oz is. Like you said, Hannah, he's trying to, like, solve his own problems. He already feels indebted to Willow because 3 days out of the month, she has to like take care of him. He has to cage himself up. She has to be there for him. And so he doesn't want that. And I think the larger issue here, even if there wasn't a Veruca, I think Veruca is certainly a catalyst to all of this happening. Even if there wasn't a Veruca, I think there is a very large gap between Willow and Oz because of him being a werewolf, because he can't just be free for 3 days of the month with Willow. If he met another werewolf, theoretically he could. And that would be a big connection point.
Remember in Fear itself, how Oz's fear was not being able to control the wolf and hurting Willow. Yeah. And Willow, we'll get to the magic of it all, but her fear was that Oz would leave. She was like, this played on, I think you're right. It both has everything and nothing to do with Veruca. Like, I think you're right. These were the fears they already had. And I guess it's not just because it's a TV show. I just feel like it is grounded in character that he doesn't ask for help. I mean, Oz, unlike some of our characters, like Xander, who you guys have pointed out many times doesn't behave well or whatever.
This episode, nothing bad to say about Xander. I will say.
No. Xander
gives great advice
throughout the series. But I'm talking about high school Xander. You know, Oz is always calm. I mean, other than his impulses, he's usually calm and smart and thinks of great plans like throwing hummus at a monster. He's usually, but this is a fault. So it would be one thing if it was out of character, if you were like, well, he always goes for help, but he doesn't usually ask for help. So the fact that he's driving off to figure it out on his own, despite, I mean, even Giles is in Sunnydale. Willow's a witch. Like he's got a team, but he
has the Scoobies. He has a full team of resources that he doesn't use. And that's why I was like so upset, because he's like, okay, I'm just going to handle this myself, Sarah. He goes and he like reinforces the hinges. And we see him like looking through a newspaper, making sure no one was hurt. Yeah. And then Buffy hears from her professor, I got attacked by like 2 wolves last night. They were the biggest wolves I've ever seen. So Buffy puts 2 and 2 together. Like, what the heck is going on? Talks to Giles about it. And I was so upset that when she talks to Oz, literally right next to the cage he's fixing, he doesn't say, Buffy, I need to tell you something. Like, please, this has to stay between us or something. You know what I mean? Like, I was really wanting that. And I know why he didn't do it. Yeah. But it was like, I just wanted him to say something.
Yeah, but I don't even know if they have that foundation of friendship to begin with. Like, we've seen them hang out a few times, and like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it would have been earned if he felt comfortable enough to open up.
Well, I think it's like Buffy is so close to Willow that I think he feels like he can't say anything because of that, you know? Sure. Because he's also, it's not just that he slept with Veruca. She's also a werewolf, but he has this attraction to her that he cannot deny. So it's always going to be an issue, him trying to tell Buffy. So obviously Oz feels a certain sort of way about telling Buffy, or even if it's not the Buffy thing, if he really just wants to handle this on his own, he feels like he can. But I guess his solution was, I will lure Veruca into the cage with me.
Yeah, that seems so short-sighted.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. That seems like a recipe for a disaster. Like, I'm going to hang out in a room alone, locked up with the person that I'm like extremely attracted to. That seems like
maybe he wanted to. Maybe look, I love Oz,
right?
But maybe he not that it tracks, Sarah.
No, facts, not tracks.
Oh my god, I thought you said it tracks.
It tracks that you would like
Oz. No, I just I think Buffy as a show does a really good job of having characters that we love have faults. Real human faults, and maybe it was his plan and he just wanted to on some level, some wolf level, some
Well, he
animal
does
level.
kiss her when they're still humans. And like he did like, and I really loved this. Okay, sorry, I need to slow down, but I love that Willow is a character who can be extremely upset but still point to logical arguments or like faults in Oz's logic. Cause like he kisses her, right? He pulls her into the cage, he locks it. Willow finds them the next morning, naked and cuddling. And he's like, I was just trying to keep her caged up, otherwise she'd hurt someone. And she's like, okay, so that meant you had to fuck her? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you couldn't talk to Buffy or Giles or literally anyone else? Like, I liked Willow pointing out the flaws in Oz's logic, even though she's extremely heartbroken and upset and feels betrayed by this. The other thing is, like, because Willow comes in, she has her little thermos and like a little snack or something for Oz. I'm like, gosh, I have to imagine like she does this routinely when
every
he's
time.
right.
Yeah, it's and it's like the worst when I don't know, like little gestures like that, um, of kindness get like slapped in the face. It's just,
Yeah.
for her to like, she was coming in thinking it was just like a normal day, and she walks in on that.
Well, and the biggest joke of all, right, is when her and Buffy are talking like, oh, Oz isn't the type to stray. And she's like, well, he won't tonight. He's going to be like all locked up. Like
He wasn't like he wasn't, and it's just.
But I think you would say the same thing about Willow. Like Willow isn't the type to stray. And let's just, and I'm not trying, this is not me saying eye for an eye or like she deserved it. Nothing like that. They had moved past it. They had talked it through. They were past it.
You never moved through move past
I
that
was
shit.
always very upset by it. But I think it's interesting that the way in which each of them found out the other was cheating was literally like walking in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like very weird how parallel that ends up being. Obviously a little different to be like naked. But
also different the level of depth their relationship had hit.
Depth for sure. Oh, sorry, never. Yes.
Oh yeah. No, it doesn't really. Boy.
But I again, like, very much credit, like Willow's cry acting was so heartbreaking, like her seeing it, him rushing to like put pants on, and of course Veruca being
loving
the
it,
worst
right? Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
I mean, like she thought it was like absolutely delicious, which was also even worse. And I do want to talk about Willow's retaliation, because she's like, I am mad at both of these people, so I'm going to put a curse on both of them. Probably not.
Let's talk about it.
Probably not what we should be doing, but also like this is like the sort of thing like when you have power, like you can't abuse that power. And like this is just going down a like dangerous path for Willow, because if she's
in character, it's so in character. It's shown. She always does magic when she's upset.
Absolutely, but it's going to be like a freaking disaster if like this is how we're retaliating. Like, I mean, this is like a big thing, but what? Like if like somebody like wrongs her, it's kind of like, Hannah, have you ever seen The Craft?
Is it on Apple TV?
It's a movie.
No, I haven't seen The Craft. I'm kidding.
Well, it's probably it could be on. No, it's on Pluto TV right now for free. So, but basically, like, these like small things that like like little retaliations, like I don't know, like making somebody unpopular, like in The Craft, but then it escalates. The next thing you know, the girl from the Brady Bunch is losing all of her hair in the shower.
Well, this is also like not dissimilar to when Xander does the love spell. Like it's you don't understand exactly what you're messing with, so you really don't know the consequences of your actions. Luckily, Willow doesn't
She was gonna
put
stop.
Oz's picture in the fire, right? Like, and it sounds to me like the spell she was doing was going to be like, he will never get to love again. Like, he will
Yeah.
only hate, which sounds dangerous, especially if he's a werewolf. Like, that sounds like really, really playing with fire.
Yeah.
But
But this is the second time, like when she was, sorry, I interrupted, but
No,
when
go.
she was, when she was attracted to Xander, she tried to, without his permission or knowledge, cast a spell so that they wouldn't be attracted to each other. She has a pattern of doing magic when she's upset and also doing it in a way that does not get the consent of others.
She's like, oh, I'm just like, this is her way of putting things to bed, like being like, okay, and now I'm done with that, and now I have like worked through my feelings, and I've put them into magic, and now I'm done, and now I've moved on.
But also, like, in reality, you can't be like, hey, like, I'm gonna put a spell on you, is that okay? Like, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
but the Xander one, at least, like, if it was like, Xander, are you okay if I put a spell to make us not attracted to each other anymore so we could just stay with our respective partners? Like, that's a little bit easier to get consent for than what's happening with the Oz and Veruca spell. But this was so interesting. I lived for Buffy, like, taking care of Willow, first of all. You know, JT the TA saves Willow from the car that's about to smash into her, which we're seeding in a JT the TA like hero situation with Buffy. Like, it's gonna happen.
Sure.
But then she like takes care of Willow. But I love it, I don't love it, but like, this is the reality of who Buffy is, that she has to be like, Willow, I'm so sorry. Like, I have to go find Veruca because she's gonna hurt somebody. Like, it's my literal job. I can't stay with you, but please, like, don't blame yourself. Like, put the blame on who deserves it. You know, like, I'm so sorry. I love you, but I have to go. But when she gets to Oz's place and like they have to work together to find Veruca, she's like, maybe don't talk to me right now. Like, maybe you just like really upset my best friend. And so like, let's not be like, pretend that we're okay right now.
You're a little bit of a piece of shit, so I don't want to look at you right now.
Yeah.
Buffy is definitely the side character to Willow and Oz in this episode. And I was, in my prep for the episode, I came across that they tried to make it relate to Buffy as they do most episodes. Most of the time, even if something is about someone else, it relates to something Buffy's going through. And they just gave up and let these two characters have their episode instead, which I think really works, because then you see Buffy as the friend. Because it's a matter of perspective who's in the central protagonist role. And she can be strong and we'll talk about the opening and everything, but she just gets to be the friend who is like, don't talk.
Which I don't mind that, right? Because I think it's more interesting. Like, I mean, honestly, the most interesting episodes of Boy Meets World were clearly the Sean Hunter episodes, like, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So I really don't mind. Like, even though it was Corey's show, essentially, he was the boy that met world. It's like, I mean, Sean Hunter was the star of the show. He had the compelling stories.
And sometimes we need to see someone else's perspective. Like, Buffy's always going to be around, but I don't mind getting to shift perspective and focus on some other characters, especially when there are times where you're not the main character in like your life's story. You know what I mean? Like, there are times where you have to be second fiddle to your friend who needs you, to your friend who needs your help, or your friend who needs help but won't say he needs help. You know, like, that's just how life works sometimes.
Well, the thesis statement of the whole thing is sort of a coming of age thing with Buffy, and all the different characters are different parts of her. So she really is the center of the show. I just think it's nice that they didn't try to like force in like something Buffy was going through would have felt so heavy. Like,
but what about Parker?
What about Parker?
That's what I'm saying. What if they had freaking shoved her and her Parkerness all up in
No,
here?
stop it.
Done with the
Don't
Parker of it
don't
all.
be nasty. Don't be nasty.
There's a part of me that just wishes I had come on later in the season because I have so much to say about things that I can't say. Sarah, you have issue with laws. Just wait for some of the couplings.
Do you want to come back? You can come back. Tell us when you're coming back.
Okay, great. I'll come back. I'm announcing it here. I'll come back so
Incredible.
I can complain. I'll choose an episode that I really want to complain about.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, we like to
I
complain.
texted Jess. I think you guys were talking about
Out of
season
the group
4.
chat. See?
I think this was right before the group chat. Or no, it may have been the first
Uh-huh.
text in the group chat.
Okay. Tell me about
I would
it.
never purposefully exclude someone from
It's
a group
fine.
chat. I have too much middle school trauma with that shit. I tagged you guys were like, well, season 4 is kind of fun. And I just said, yeah, because the main plot hasn't really kicked in.
Yeah. We know because like the main plot of Buffy doesn't start until like episode 8. So
episode 7, yeah. It's
Yeah,
7 will always
tomorrow?
kickstart the plot. Yeah.
Oh, so it's
ready.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow begins the
Yes.
it's interesting because we're analyzing an episode in which the writers had to adjust with I don't think this is that big a spoiler. Had to adjust with an actor leaving, right? And so the main
so like what Seth Green got too famous from Austin Powers? Is that what
No,
happened?
the villain
went on
I think,
Reddit.
is the one.
I went on Reddit to see what was going on. I tried to do my research. I love all Reddit except when it's about me.
Yeah.
When it's about you, it's suddenly not fun. But it seemed to either be a movie conflict or he wanted meatier storylines and more exploration of character. And there was Joss Whedon, Seth Green sort of wolf off. I don't know. But this is, and I'm gonna do this gently.
You gotta be gentle
yes,
with us.
Without spoilers. The main plot also suffers from things sometimes out of production's hands or in production's hands. There's a lot of debate on it on Reddit, to be honest.
Interesting.
But yeah, I'll just come on a later episode and complain for an hour instead.
Can't wait.
Yes. But it's just I don't know what sparked this complaint. I don't know.
I don't remember now, but so the one thing about Buffy though is like we said, this isn't really her episode.
This isn't her episode,
but she does have a little. I was happy for the win that she gets in that she's doing well in her psych class now. She like got an A on her. She did better than Willow, which is like massive. That never happens.
Love that scene. Love that scene.
And
academic
I love Willow
jealousy.
saying, yes, academic jealousy.
So cute. So
it was
cute.
adorable, and she has.
I relate to Willow so much. Being like, actually, I learned to stop competing because my best friend in like 6th grade would always get 100%. You can't compete if you always lose. You bow out before you can lose.
Yeah, that's no fun. But Buffy is doing better in her class, and that's really exciting because she really was like struggling. It seems like she's found a better balance at least. And also, I think I don't know, I feel like she's more on top of her game because she notices when they're hunting down Veruca, she bumps into this military guy. And that is one thing in and of itself, right? To be like, Giles, I ran into this guy. He had like this massive gun. Like, that's weird. But she also recalled that during Halloween, she saw similar men in similar outfits that she thought was a Halloween costume. And so I was like, damn, Buffy, like that is good recall for her to be like, something is up. It's wigging me out. And like, certainly a thing that is probably being seeded for later is the fact that now the government or the military or whoever these people are in camo have Spike. So that seems like
what a great opener. What a classic opener.
Yeah.
Him monologuing just to be
snatched. Just to be taken away.
Snatched.
Yes.
Look, I think there's a lot of good I want to like say in season 4, just to be clear. And this opener is one of them. It's still Buffy. I'm sure there are people. Have you gotten texts from people who like season 4 is their favorite? No.
I don't think we've
No.
gotten from anybody that it's their favorite. I think we've heard from someone that like it's not as bad as people make it out to be, a sort of a vibe. But I don't think we've gotten that this is anyone's favorite season. Sarah, do you recall anybody saying that? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
It's sort of the opposite vibe of my favorite season. For those listening, I'm a season 6 girl, which is a very controversial season. You either like probably love it or hate it. So I don't know. I think this has an opposite vibe of that. If I'm obviously 2 and 3,
It's very like light,
great, but
fluffy so far. Obviously not this episode. This episode's very much more like heartbreaking. But yeah, so beyond the Buffy of it all and kind of the government taking Spike and the kind of that whole thing kind of kicking things off there, I did want to touch on you mentioned it very briefly, Hannah, Xander's involvement in all of this, because he is kind of in the periphery in this episode. But Willow approaches him because she wants advice. She says, I've already talked to Buffy. I've gotten like the girl advice, but I do think I want to talk to a guy about this. Like, what does it mean when the girl wants to, but the guy doesn't want to? And I was so proud of Xander for giving the advice to talk to Oz, because like truly revolutionary. Like never, I mean, yes, of course he starts with like, well, there's only like 7 minutes a year that guys aren't thinking about it. Like, okay, we're going to forget he said that for a second. And we're going to focus on the fact that he was like, I think you should talk to your boyfriend, because solid advice, Xander.
Solid advice. Is the basement making him smarter? I mean, he's done this with Buffy too, when he picked her up in the premiere.
Yes.
Maybe he just needed some purgatory in the basement to really
send
reflect
him
on
off.
his choices.
You know what's changed?
Anya?
Changed?
Oh,
Anya?
I don't know.
Lasagna season, baby. Anya is in the building.
How
Are you
amazing
a fan,
is
Hannah?
Anya? Oh,
Thank you.
Of course,
Yes,
I'm a fan of
great.
Anya. Anya, you know, it fills in a completely different way a whole Cordelia left, where she can look at the group and be like, I like one person here, and that's why I'm here. She's so good. And her comedic timing, chef's kiss. Yeah, Anya's great. Anya's always been great.
A real talent.
I love her. I love her so much.
I think
missed
when
her
I
these
did Doppelgangland, and so I saw Anya before she was as beloved by you guys. You know, I was like, oh, they don't even know how good she is.
We did not know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Emma Caulfield, I think that's the actress.
Emma Caulfield.
Love her. So credit to Xander for giving solid advice. But unfortunately, the way things end is Willow decides to not go through with her spell. She gets interrupted by Veruca, who has set a fake trail for Oz to follow, where she basically stripped naked to leave her clothes because Oz would be able to follow her scent. But it's kind of a decoy trail because she secretly wants to go kill Willow and have Oz all to herself. Luckily, Oz gets there with plenty of time to stop her. Hannah, you mentioned this earlier, but they have like this weird half transformation situation.
It's weird foreplay. It's like their faces
nightmare
are hairy.
fuel. I hate it.
To have Willow have to watch their wolf foreplay in their half transformed state. What a torturous. Obviously, this is all leading to the most painful final scene, but this was almost as bad. It was gross. She's like, is this what you've been into in the bedroom this whole time?
Horrible. Really
horrible.
Bad.
And then we get to watch 2 really awful werewolf costumes fight. Oz kills Veruca. Like bites her neck or whatever. And as he's about to turn on Willow, because he is fully werewolf now, Buffy is able to stop him and trank him as Willow is just like sobbing. It's so awful. It's really hard to watch.
Yeah.
Is there any way that he would have realized it was Willow?
Maybe eventually, but like I don't think that's the Oz that we
Not so
know
far in
now.
his wolf journey. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I think if we're taking a lesson away from this, right? Like, because he's leaving. The end of the episode, he's leaving Sunnydale. I think there's a halfway point where like Veruca leans all the way in on her wolfiness, right? On her id, on her animalistic instincts, and Oz is the opposite end where he wants to like forget it exists, lock it up 3 days a month, like not pay attention to it. But I do think there's like a middle ground where if he's able to embrace certain aspects of it, maybe like Veruca has, he'll be able to like have some sort of memories, which you'd think then would possibly lead to some sort of agency when he's a werewolf.
Yeah.
I think he needs to find the middle ground and be at balance with it. And I think that's the problem. So I feel like he's not at peace with who he is. And that is what is causing him to black out / have no control. So
not great.
No, not at all.
Pretty bad. I think I found the episode I can return to, but I'll do this off the.
Perfect.
Okay.
You guys, the listeners don't need to have me discuss logistics.
I mean, love a logistics talk. Yeah. So, I mean, like, is there anything else to say about this episode? Like, I guess I don't know. I feel a little, like meh, surprise, right? About it. Like, I don't think that I have like a strong feeling for or against this. And I think that's just because I think that it just wasn't like exciting for me anymore. Like the Anya Xander stuff is exciting for me. Like, I think it's really cute. I think it basically just comes down to like different strokes for different folks. And like, sometimes I feel like I take, like, I don't know. I wasn't that into their relationship. I don't know if I was that into him, but
that's crazy to me. That's so absurd to me. I think you're allowed to have whatever opinion you want. I'm so sorry. I didn't come on your podcast to call you absurd.
I don't care. Yeah.
No, I think you're great. I think you're great. I think your wedding photos are beautiful. I just disagree with your opinion on this matter.
I think your wedding photos are beautiful. That matters more to her.
It does, actually.
They're beautiful. They're simple. They're well done. They're an inspiration. Your opinion on this is cuckoo bananas, but your wedding photos are top notch.
I'm trying to figure out why I don't care. Like, I
think it's because you never really cared all that much about Oz. And so like, if you don't care about Oz, it's hard to then care about a relationship. You can care about Willow, but still be like very meh on the relationship. Now,
there's a relationship coming up where I care about one and not the other, and I will justify that. I think Oz and Willow are a beautiful unfolding first love story. I mean, because you have on the other end, think of the other sort of high school first love relationships. You have Angel and Buffy, where he stopped her when she was licking a lollipop as a high school student, and then she fucked the soul out of him. You have Cordelia and Xander, where they
fucked each
enemies to lover. They apparently never had sex because he lost his virginity to fate.
This can't make any sense.
Lies.
You're
telling me he never
not possible.
Not possible. You know, obviously in the early
Cordelia
seasons,
isn't everything but girl.
She's like, you can you can earn your way to there.
Yeah.
But to me, this is it's just a gentle, like, understanding, intimate first love. Like when they're lying in the bed and he wakes her up from her nightmare, there's just this intimacy of two characters that have built it over 4 seasons that I like I said, I think that Willow is someone I deeply relate to. I think that his quiet confidence and like consistent care for her, there are moments between the two of them, and I know I'm being repetitive of stuff I've said before, that they don't even kiss, and it's more beautiful than some of the dramatic makeout scenes where, like when she wants to make out with him, but it was to make Xander jealous one time. And he said, no, like, I'm really looking forward to kissing you, but not in this moment. It just feels grounded and intimate. And Willow also, I guess I'm biased in the fact that I both relate to Willow and love her. And I don't think it's a huge spoiler to say that Willow has my favorite relationships, plural. Like that Willow, the way that they show her romances is a way that I don't know. It hits me the hardest, the way that she loves.
The reason I love Oz so much is because if we take away Willow being a witch and Oz being a werewolf, it truly just feels like a very normal first relationship. Like, it feels so normal. Like, that this is what a normal couple would do. And like the even coming down to like the cheating aspect of like, I mean, not every couple breaks up as a result of like a cheating thing, right? Some do work through it, and they did. Like, they put in the work and they were both like moved on from it. Like, this to me reads as a very average first love story. And unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, your first love isn't your last love. Like, that's just not generally how life works. And like, I was heartbroken in the very last scene because they both still love each other. Like, that hasn't changed, but Oz needs to figure his shit out, and he doesn't want to do it where he can hurt people. He doesn't want to hurt Willow. He doesn't want to hurt the people around him. And so he wants to figure his shit out on his own. And I also think there's an aspect that he thinks people can't understand because they aren't going through the same thing. And he can't let Willow make that decision for him. Like, 'cause she says, don't I get a say? But no, she doesn't. Unfortunately, like, he hurt her. And just because she's willing to forgive him, if she is, doesn't mean that he should then stay and they should stay together, because he has to work on himself, right? Like, that we've said this for every teen drama, every show we've covered. Like, you can't put your all into a relationship until you've like worked out a situation with yourself. Like, you need to figure out who you are first. And I think the werewolf part of him complicates his own identity in a way that he can't be with Willow, because also he just really fucking hurt her. And I think even if she wanted to be with him, I don't think he wants to do that to her again, you know?
But isn't it also something beautiful about, there's so much in the early seasons of Willow trying to be more like Buffy to get Xander's attention, or more like Cordelia to get someone like Xander's attention. And Oz is the first person that saw her in her like eccentricities, in that Eskimo costume, saw her and thought, who is that? You know, Buffy's trying to get her to dress up. I mean, I know your opinion on sluttier costumes, but like, I listen to the podcast and I argue in my head, and then I come in here and argue on mic. I realize I'm an asshole. I'm the kind of person that's been listening to your podcast, and it's coming on here just to fight. But no, there's something about it's both like every first love and also specifically theirs, where like, when she tries to seduce him and like have sex for the first time, and he's so excited but also confused that he stands up because he's just like overwhelmed by it. And it just feels like, if in Willow's journey of self-acceptance, Oz loving her played this part. And maybe it's the high school nerd's fantasy of sort of like, someone's gonna, everything that makes me like specific and quirky and whatever is this character comes along and loves that. And I also think, if we're playing on to like first love, I think it's a very freshman year of college experience to go through your first breakup, or to end a relationship with her high school boyfriend. I mean, I like Willow, Oz is comfort for her, and now she has to sort of navigate freshman year on her own. She's been doing great. Obviously, Willow was always going to thrive in a more intense academic setting, but now it's like, okay, your comfort, your safety's gone. Who are you? And that's kind of exciting for the character.
That's like, true. Lots of room for growth. And like, I do like all of your, I think like, I like what Oz did for Willow and her confidence. I don't know. And like, I like all the things like, I like that. I really like that he liked her, like, for her ugly Halloween costumes. Like, I like that he was like a gentle lover to her, like for her. Like, I like all these things that you're saying. I don't know. Like, it almost felt like I don't know. And maybe it's just because it's the type of person that Oz is, this like quiet, cerebral. Like, I think like when I'm sitting here and I'm like, what is going on in this person's universe? And I don't know, there like comes like an air of like distrust, but also, I don't know, like I just like I felt a dark aura. I don't know. I felt something off. Like I didn't trust him with Willow's heart. But then again, like Willow was the one that like broke things off with him, didn't break things off, but like messed things up with him. So I don't know. Like I feel like I need a little time to like figure out like why or how this didn't work for me, because I don't think it has been for a couple seasons, like, or since the beginning. I don't know. Like I just don't think I ever got there. But I don't know. Like I totally see where you're both coming from and like why you love the relationship. And certainly I understand why you like the relationship for Willow. But I don't know. But then again, like I don't know if like I mean like I wasn't like crazy about Buffy and Angel for like the majority of it. Maybe I just don't like anything. Do I hate love? I don't know.
No, Sarah, I've seen your wedding pictures. You don't hate love. You're beautiful.
Oh my God.
I lied before. I will, if you guys have nobody coming back for episode 19 of this season, I'll come back for episode 19.
19, okay.
Yeah.
We do not have anybody coming on for 19.
There we go.
I will come back for season 4, episode 19. You know the title, so that's not
I don't know the title.
Okay,
I know that I'm looking at the title. Yeah.
Right. That's the one I'll come back for. No, it's okay. I just find it's always worked for me. So I don't know how to explain a feeling, I guess, but if Willow's the character that I most probably project myself onto, her falling in love with Oz reminded me of early awkward moments of being loved for who I was as opposed to who I was trying to be socially.
That's sweet. Yeah.
And I saw that in
their relationship
for me.
Yeah. To be clear, I don't like JT either in his greasy ass hair. So maybe I just don't like any of these boys.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
that is totally fine, and hopefully there will be something for you.
Why is cascading bangs?
JT's hair so greasy.
Why is JT's hair so greasy?
He's too busy being a TA to wash it, Sarah.
He has to grade so many. Do you know how bad these intro to psych papers probably are?
Busy saving people from being mowed over by cars.
Yeah. Also, is this not a punishment that Buffy had to? She did well in the paper, and now she has to lead a discussion. To me, that seems like a punishment.
No, it's a huge honor. This is where I relate to Willow. It is an honor. You get to lead the discussion. That means the teacher sees more of you and likes you more.
No.
Here's news that relates to this. I'm officially going to grad school, so watch out. I will be back in my academic. And this just reminded me because I'm so excited to go back to school, and I relate to Willow.
Okay, what?
Incredible.
End of discussion.
Are you excited to go school supply shopping?
Yes,
I'm my favorite type of shopping.
My next door neighbor, her daughter's entering kindergarten, and I love her. I'm basically her aunt block. We're gonna do first day of school pictures. I'm really excited.
Oh,
I'm going to grad school, and she's going to kindergarten.
What are you studying?
I'm gonna eventually become a licensed therapist, but I'm gonna get a MSW, a master's in social work. I am in one program and waitlisted from another, so I won't say where I'm going yet because I don't know.
Very fair.
Incredible.
But yes, I relate to Willow's excitement about school, and I like seeing Buffy, who we know is smart based on how she was able to test and stuff. She got into Northwestern, my alma mater, and it's nice to see her enjoy.
She's thriving finally. Like it feels like she's adjusting now, right? Like that's what made me happy. Is I was like, oh, like Buffy, you got like a good grade in a class like you care about, like you're proud of yourself. Like I was very happy to see that for Buffy because she's been going through it this season. But I think we should shift.
Parker does suck. Oh, sorry.
Parker sucks hard.
We don't have to justify. I was listening to you guys chat about Parker. We don't have to be like, well, casual relationships are fine. No part of what he did is fine because consensual casual relationships are fine. Mm-hmm. That was not consensual casualness. He feigned casualness.
Yeah, he's a monster.
This is the part in the podcast where I just talk about random things you've talked about the past 7
Let me respond, actually.
I gotta just start having you guys read my text like emails occasionally, so I don't have to come on here.
We definitely will do that. Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Anyways,
Yes.
what did you want to move on to?
So we did also watch an episode of Angel.
My gosh.
Season 1, episode 6, Sense and Sensitivity. I'm going to shout out
I
Michael
watched it.
Yes, Hannah did her homework.
I did
no one assigned her, but she did it for extra credit. I will give Michael from San Francisco a quick little shout out because Michael, you're so smart. He did not have this episode on his list of ones we had to watch, and boy was he right. Because you know what I don't care about is Kate the cop and her daddy problems. Don't care.
I would like to just give a little context of my interaction with Angel the series since I'm participating in this, which is that I have watched all the crossover episodes, and I tune into Passion of the Nerd. Shout out that YouTube channel once again for anything smart I've ever said on this podcast. But and so I've seen a lot of analysis of the series without ever like fully watching the series. It's kind of like how I watch Mad Men. I've seen so much analysis, but I don't watch the series, but I could give you like I like Mad Men analysis for some reason. So this I think was my first early Angel series full episode I've ever sat through or ever watched.
And what did you think about it, Hannah?
So bad.
I went on Reddit to see what the general consensus was because of my visceral reaction. And some people were like, oh my God, it's so funny. Like, love this one. So I don't want to like poo-poo something that someone enjoyed, but it was not fun. And also, if you're going to have an episode that's not fun, the messaging should be good, right? Like, was the messaging that like, if you're too sensitive, that makes you super weak? Like, what was the thesis of the episode?
Felt like only babies talk about their feelings, and it's funny when
cops don't need sensitivity training. That aged badly.
Cops don't need sensitivity training. It was all bad. Like,
well, Cordelia had moments. I missed her, so it was like, oh, there's Cordelia.
Sure, but like, she didn't have enough moments, and she raises valid points. Like Angel, when you see I don't know if they're your employees or your partners or whatever they are to you in your business, when they come in and they're covered in nasty tentacle gook, maybe you should say to them, hey, good job, or hey, thanks for handling that. Like, a little bit of words of affirmation go a long way, Sarah. We've talked about this.
Where is HR in Angel investigations? Where's the like
non-existent
HR department?
I mean, I work for a very small company with not that many more employees than Angel Investigation Incorporated, and there's never an HR department. For me, this was such another boring episode. I don't know, like I couldn't get into any of it, and it's not like I didn't try. Like I
tried so hard. You told me I could stop.
I did, and it was it was so boring. I
didn't like masculinity is better than sensitivity. The episode,
yeah, I don't know. It was just so dumb.
It was too cop centered. It was too Kate centered. Yeah. It was like not enough Cordelia. Yeah.
Obviously, we have to like try to care about Kate. Like I think that's like a character that we're supposed to care about. Like does she get she's not in the lead credits at the moment, but I think that she's supposed to be an important person on this show.
Definitely she's going to be around. Yeah, for sure.
And I just like feel as though it's just like hard to like really be interested or care about her. I think like anybody's backstory is interesting, but also like if we're going to go like for like new characters, like what's people's backstory? Like I'd rather find out more about Doyle, who I actually have like a vested interest in. So I guess like, that's my problem. Like if I would have rather known like what like Doyle's daddy issues are more so than Kate's, but that's once again just because like I don't know, maybe this is like the second or third episode that we've seen Kate in, and I don't know. Like, I mean, she's just like the cop that like sometimes Angel works with, and it just
And
like
sometimes
whatever.
assaults the people that she's arrested, and that's so fun.
Yeah, she should have been signed up for sensitivity
Yes,
training.
they all should be.
They all should be.
This episode, and the other thing too about this episode that it felt almost like a ripoff of like The Sopranos in a specific way to me. Like it was very like we're trying to do the Italian mobster thing, and I just looked, and this episode aired in November of '99, and The Sopranos began in 1999. So like I do feel like they were like, we're gonna do a Sopranos thing, like because the Italian mobster thing,
I wonder if like I think I could get like I was thinking about Buffy season 1 and how there are some clunkers maybe, but it's like kind of fun rompy clunkers, whereas Angel,
the
I
bug
know
lady.
The bug lady, I Robot Eugene, lots
that one's iconic.
You guys just got through the lowest rated episode in Bad Beer of almost the series. It's the lowest rated episode of season 4 is Beer Bad. Sorry.
Hated it.
You kept being like, I wonder if people like this. It was very low rated. So I wonder if because I know there are some good parts of Angel. My biggest issue, and I'll speak vaguely from the many analysis videos I've watched, is I don't like when women become props of male growth in TV shows, and this sort of seems to be a theme in Angel. So I've always been hesitant to start it, but I know that it can be a good series. But I wonder if like the clunkers in season 1 Buffy are still kind of goofy and fun, whereas the clunkers on season 1 Angel, before they sort of figure out what the cast is going to look like and dynamic, just come a little boring.
Well,
sorry to the Redditors who loved this.
You know what it is, though? I think part of it is that even if there are some clunkers in season 1 of Buffy, it's still revolutionary in that there is a strong female protagonist that we're following. And so it feels different because of that. Whereas Angel, if they're not doing anything new or inventive or exciting, it feels more like a rote kind of run-of-the-mill procedural because the main character is male, and like yes, we have Cordy. Like I'm not trying to say we don't have Cordy, but like if she's not a huge part of the episode, like it feels like she's just another female side character. So like I think that's at least that's for me why the boring episodes of Angel are so much harder to get through than maybe I don't even want to say boring, but like a non-essential episode of Buffy.
I don't know if I've like ever said an episode of Buffy was boring, because like quote unquote bad episodes or weaker episodes of Buffy are typically they're just like corny or dumb or like
they're a little cheesy,
but like I don't know if I've ever, and correct me to anyone that listens to us that like knows, like I just like I don't think like I can think of like a boring episode of Buffy. I just remember being like, this is like the stupidest shit that I've ever seen in my life. But and I think like it's the worst thing that you can be. It's like it's okay if you hate something, right? And it's okay if you love something, but like being don't bore me is like the worst thing that you could do.
Yeah, it was. You can't speed up Disney Plus for those wondering. I tried. I feel like someone who loves Angel is gonna write a paper about why.
Well,
I wish I'm such a and look, I love Firefly. Like I love usually not the man, but the Whedonverse of shows, and part of me wants to trust it, but it was hard that this was the one that was paired.
It's not great.
I guess the question is, are all the good episodes of Angel directly related to Buffy? Are they?
No, I don't think so, but it takes some time to get there. From my watching of analysis, I think at first probably yes, but I think once the Angel cast find its footing a little, eventually Angel, I believed, moved network, so they couldn't even do as many crossovers for a while.
Angel moved away and he got off the show, which
he went on a boat because of a siren, a male
Yeah.
siren.
Yeah.
Angel's
incredible.
homoerotic male siren storyline
Well,
would be
yeah.
really
That would
exciting.
hit. That would hit. I mean, like I say that, and like literally last episode, Jess and I were both like, "This is a good episode." We both enjoyed
Well,
it.
here's the thing.
There was not a crossover, but it was Cordy centric, so I feel like it's like
That's why we loved it. Yeah.
adjacent to Buffy.
I will say that luckily, according to Michael from San Francisco, the next episode of Angel is
What
a
is it?
good one.
7.
7. The name of it
Okay.
too, and I'll give you the name because why not? We're here. It's called The Bachelor Party. So I do think it's promising. We got a promising title, and we have
There we
Michael
go.
recommending it. So that, and honestly, to give Michael credit, I feel like every episode that has been on his list of like essential ones for us to watch, we've enjoyed.
The pilot,
The pilot, because it's the pilot. That one I
Right.
don't. We
and then
weren't
what
like
else? And then the
well,
last
number
episode.
episode 3.
What was that?
Let me look. Hold on. Angel
Oh,
season
it was
1.
obviously never mind. It was the Ring episode.
Oh yeah, it was the one with Spike.
Duh,
when
that was a
Spike guest
great.
starred.
That was a great episode. Did you watch that, Hannah?
I've seen enough analysis of it. I've really Mad Men'd Angel. Look, if
Yeah.
if I really need to get an A in my homework, I'll watch all of Angel. But
No,
I
no, no,
have
don't
to have
watch
my
it. Don't do that.
prereq statistics.
But no, it's just specifically only because like I feel like to get the full story of the ring that ultimately didn't matter, you had to like
Yeah,
watch.
because there was the ring and Buffy, and then they gave it to Angel, and Angel was like, "I'm too cool to go out in
And
the
then Oz
sunlight."
went there. Yeah. But so
stupid.
no, you're right. Like you didn't.
I'm
you were-
familiar with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the episode that was also on Michael's list, and then last episode, which we really loved,
And
was
I
on.
assume the season 1 episode 2, like, he has a couple more season 1s on his list. I assume, like, I Will Remember You.
Oh, he has a full. So this is the list of the ones he's given us: 1, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Mhm.
18,
boy.
19, 21. So we have a big
gonna be a
gap between
big
10 and
gap.
18. Where I'm
That's
a
going to
little
be
nervous.
exciting.
But we'll see what happens. But
Well,
you
I
know.
really, I did do my homework for this podcast. I watched.
Yeah.
I
your
watched
extra
it at
credit, we did not
1.0
assign. We
speed.
did not assign you to watch it.
Gave you the out.
I wanted to lead a discussion group.
Okay, so then what else do you have to discuss with this episode? Because there's nothing. We
There's
got
really nothing.
Got nothing.
I liked her dress. I thought it was a cute
Sure.
dress she was in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's just there wasn't, and I like seeing different sides of Angel is fun.
I liked
oh,
when
and
he went undercover.
I loved
That
that.
was fun. That was
so
fun.
It was really funny.
my biggest problem is that like they were poking so much fun at like sensitivity that I was annoyed.
Training for cops. Yeah.
Yeah, because
The
it's
one
like
thing they
you should
need.
be. You should be sensitive to people around you. That's called just being a decent human being. Sorry.
I mean, it didn't
Yeah,
carry
the
well at all.
evil. It was basically like evil. Therapy's evil, and cops don't need it.
Exactly. The message was bad. But luckily we don't have to watch it again. We just had to watch
No.
it the one time. And I will not be watching it again.
Great.
But what we will be watching next week is season 4, episode 7 of Buffy, called
Mm-hmm.
The Initiative.
Dun 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 dun.
That sounds
Is
a
that
little-
Greek speak?
No.
Okay.
You're thinking initiation.
what I
Initiative, I think, has to do with like the army stuff. It sounds like
Oh, what if Xander gets recruited?
I mean that would
Right? Because he has like the soldier experience from before.
Hmm.
There could be something there.
He probably has
the-
flat feet and can join.
The only thing is that maybe it's not a Xander episode because Lindy is going to be joining us, and I don't know that she would pick a Xander centric episode.
Who knows?
So we'll see. But that will be next week. We'll also be briefly chatting about Angel, the bachelor party, next week as well.
Will
and-
Lindy do her homework as well as me? I'm just kidding. See, this
I
is
think-
where I'm
I think
Willow.
she does. I think she does. I mean, I don't know.
She
I
probably
think
has seen
she's
Angel.
seen all of Angel. Yeah, she's
Damn
seen
it.
all of it. Yeah,
I'm
she loves
the
the
B
theme
plus
song.
here. She's the A.
So that will be next week. But Hannah, anything else you wanted to add before we wrap things up?
Let
We
me
always
look at
enjoy
my
getting to
notes.
talk with you. Yes,
I
please.
have
note.
my really thorough notes.
Mhm.
For some reason, I thought it would be relevant to talk about my freshman year roommate's long distance boyfriend, but it
Oh.
wasn't. I don't know why it was in my notes because I was just thinking about how it's like a freshman year experience.
Yeah.
You know, a high school relationship ending.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had our boyfriend over Zoom though. It was Skype at the time. I woke up to him watching us sleep. I don't know why I thought this would be
Wait,
relevant.
I feel like you've told us.
You definitely told us this before.
That is crazy.
This is just
Yes.
this is the
That is
story that this
awful.
podcast always makes me think of. Yes, Giles being hot.
Yes. Nailed it.
Yeah, I think that I've done. I remember being like, I should come back for this because we did phases together.
It makes sense. I think it
episode.
makes sense because you're like, you want like the full circle.
Yeah. The full moon.
That's the thing. It felt appropriate. I mean, so much of the episode, I almost wonder if they wrote that last scene first and then figured out how to get there because the breakup scene felt so
well written,
like grounded. Just grounded in two characters that know each other. I think that's the thing with Buffy versus Angel, at least for now, is that whatever happens with plot, when our characters just talk to each other, it's so fun on Buffy because they're so, there's so much chemistry now and history. And it's hard to compare that to a season 1 of a show where they're just trying to figure that out. Even Cordelia being with Angel, I mean, again, I haven't watched a lot of Angel, but it's just, I'm sure they get there to the point where it's so much chemistry and like a well-oiled machine. But right now, it's just like, there's Cordelia.
It's a little awkward, right? Like,
they're figuring it out. I think
they're figuring it out.
They're finding the vibe. Yeah,
I like it because he's all broody and she's very honest, so it makes sense. It's just they're figuring it out. But yeah, this, I think that this is I think that it was all about the last scene and I don't know, it worked for me. And the wolf stuff is always just a little silly, whether in the first episode I came out here, not the lore and the discussion of how like id and all that, but more just
the way they look.
Moons are very, I mean, you remember in Phases you had that sexist character that was trying to hunt them down.
Yes.
There's always, to me, Veruca is similar to that, where there's always in the wolf storylines this third element that's so on the nose.
Unnecessary.
Veruca made more sense than the sexist that said
certainly
girls can't be strong or whatever that guy's deal was. So Veruca at least was like sprinkled throughout. She made sense, and ultimately everything felt grounded in character. But light one up for Waz.
Well, now I'm depressed. So, oh gosh, at least I still have lasagna. I still have lasagna.
This means that Willow has some chance to, explore college without her comfort. And, she just started the Wicca group in this one. We saw her with a bunch of
maybe she'll find a little warlock she can date, something like that. Who knows? A wizard,
I still have the original, long-haired Willow in Oz. And now she's cut her hair and it's
I
time
love short hair Willow. Yeah.
It's time to explore what college has to offer.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, next week we'll talk about the initiative and we'll see what else the Scoobies get on up to. Hannah, do you want to plug anything? Anywhere people can find you? Anything like that?
Yeah, I'm at Hannah Lil Nesson. I'll be releasing something fun on Instagram, I think, next week. So come follow me. I'm not on a lot of other social media anymore. It's hard for my mental health, but come follow me on Instagram. And I'll try to text our group chat on the computer.
I'm trying. I text.
But the test on computer went to a different group chat on my computer.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was weird. Can you respond to it though to see if it?
Yeah, I'll do this off pod so the listeners know I was listening. But yeah, come follow me at Hannah Nesson, and I'll text the group chat with thoughts and don't read any text I send you. I'll say for pod if there's
please let us know.
Thank you for coming on and letting me argue with all the things when I'm listening that I don't.
It's my favorite. It's the best.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm glad I wasn't alone in feeling the Waz heartbreak.
No, I was upset. I was actively upset when I was watching the episode.
So sad.
So, Well, you know where to
Thank
find
you for
me.
having me again. See you guys
Thank you so
episode
much for coming on.
19. Season 4, episode
Yes.
19. See you
Yes.
then.
In the meantime, follow us at Shit90s Pod. Listen to us talk about Felicity. Follow Whirlwind Podcasts and listen to everything they have going on. A lot of content out there, but you know what? Kind of a time when you could use some lighthearted content. So go check out everything we have going on, and we'll be back next week with season 4, episode 7, The Initiative. Until then, everyone, here endeth the lesson.
Just ask. Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.